Hello witches and wizards, and welcome back to Lovegood Bath Potions YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys all the steps on how I made these adorable, extra large Monster Book of Monsters bath bombs. I've wanted to make these for such a long time, and I think that they came out super cute. From making the molds, making the bath bombs, airbrushing, painting the details, packaging, designing tags, and also a bath demo at the end. You aren't going to want to miss a second of this video, so make sure to grab a snack and get ready, because this is going to be a long one. So first thing I did was make the mold and bake the clay. I baked it at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes and then put it in the freezer to cool for another 15 minutes before I started on the next step. Then I got 2 mugs that were the same size and put them in the oven when it was turned off. Make sure if you do this at home that you use ceramic or glass. Next, I put the top of my vacuum former in the oven at 325 degrees and watched it until it was ready to cast the mold. When I pull it out, I have to make sure my vacuum is already on and then I move very quickly. This mold actually didn't come out very well. It got sucked in too much towards the bottom and the clay was really hard to pop out of the plastic mold. So I had to rip it all apart and add more clay to it. I added it to the front and to the sides. I wanted to make sure that the base was wide enough and didn't have any more pockets like before. When I was done with that, I had to put it back in the oven, let it bake, and then cool again before I could make the next mold. When everything was ready, I set the vacuum former back up, melted the plastic in the oven, and then very quickly put it on top of the vacuum forming box again. And this time it came out perfectly. There was no weird lips or pockets inside the mold, and the clay popped out really easy. It did have a small crack, but that's normal for molds to do. I added some hot glue to all of the lines and cracks, and it kept together just fine. I'm so happy this mold finally worked out. It will also come more to life when it's painted and packaged, so keep that in mind. The next day is when I started making the bath bombs. I used a pumpkin pasty scent, bubbles, almond oil, and avocado oil. The texture of the batch that I needed for this is a little bit closer to a powdery texture than a wet one. It's not dry. It should hold together when you squeeze it, and you should be able to throw it around a little bit without it falling apart. I made a double batch in each of my big Halloween bowls. Seriously, these are the best bowls I've ever used for making bath bombs. They're super deep and hold a ton of product. I made one bowl at a time, and each double batch made 4 to 5 bath bombs, which isn't very many, but these are extra large bath bombs. Normally, with this double batch of bath bomb recipe, I can make between 15 and 18 bath bombs, depending on the mold that I use. As you can see, I always get really excited when the new mold actually works and doesn't fall apart. When I was done making, I let the bath bombs harden for about 8 hours and then began airbrushing. I mixed a crimson red, orange, cherry red, and brown together to get the color that I wanted. I painted everything besides the eye area. I absolutely love my airbrush machine. It makes painting big areas like this really easy, and it looks a lot nicer than painting the whole thing with the paint and a brush. Also, I can work in thinner coats so the bath bomb underneath doesn't get too wet and start activating early. Trust me, it looks ugly when that happens, and you don't want that. I have a paper towel on the table that I placed each of them on so that I can move that around instead of touching the bath bomb and ruining the paint. After I was done airbrushing, I waited another 2 hours before I started on the black details. I painted black first to add a little bit of depth. I painted the teeth area, in between the fangs on the front, the pages on the side of the book, the eyes, the small detail creases by the mouth, and the spine of the book. After another 3 to 4 hours, I added highlights. I had to make sure that the black was fully dry before adding a lighter color, because I didn't want the colors to bleed through. I wanted the silver color to just sit on top of the black. I added silver to the small teeth, in between the fangs again covering the black, on the sides, and also added a few details to the eyes. I let these sit for a day and a half before shrink wrapping them. I wanted to make sure that the bath bomb was completely dry all the way through and that all the paint was dry and wouldn't leave a mess all over the inside of the shrink wrap bag. I actually didn't have any bags big enough for these, so I just used two 6-inch by 6-inch bags. I put one on first, used the heat gun, and then added a second one covering the open end. When I was done, I was left with perfectly sealed and protected bath bombs. Next, I designed a tag for them on pigmonkey.com and saved it to my computer. I added the name, the ingredients, and wrote that it was made with a handmade mold and is painted by hand. I also added my social media information just because I wanted to. Next, I downloaded the image onto an online website that inverts photos. I wanted it to have a black background with white lettering. Now, I could have just added a black background and white lettering while I was editing this photo, but then all of my social media information would have been in the wrong colors, and I just didn't want to have to remake that. This was easier for me, so this is what I did. After that was done, I put it into my Dymo printer app on my computer and started printing out the labels. I loved how they came out, and they were super easy to design and print at home. These labels are also waterproof, and I think that is awesome. And of course, I wanted to show you guys a little sneak peek of what it does in the water. For more bath bomb art and demos, make sure to follow my Instagram. I post new photos on there multiple times a week and behind the scenes shots of the everyday life of a bath product maker. any other video ideas or things you'd like to see me do next, make sure to leave it down in a comment below. I plan on doing more of these How It's Magically Made videos. So if there's any things that you'd like to see me make, please make sure to leave a comment. And also, don't forget to subscribe. I do unboxing videos, I plan on doing more behind the scenes videos, and I'm also going to be doing a vlog soon where I go to Harry Potter World for my 21st birthday, so you don't want to miss any of that. If you would like to be the first to purchase one of these adorable Monster Book of Monsters bath bombs, I'll make sure to leave a listing to my Etsy page down in the description. Make sure that you get yours quickly because new items do go fast. Until next time.